the Media Connection, and we are here at the White House looking forward to Michelle Obama, First Lady of the United States, and all of the wonderful poetry that we're going to hear from the National Student Poets. We'll be right back with First Lady Michelle Obama.
Sit down, leave the book so I can read the prompters behind you. Good afternoon and welcome to the White House. Yay. And we are beyond thrilled to have you all here today. I want to start by thanking the people who helped make this day possible. Of course, I want to start with Megan Meyer and President's Committee on Arts and Humanities. The Alliance for Young Artists and Writers, the National Endowment for the Humanities, the Institute of Museum and Library Sciences, Urban Word, Youth Speak, and I want to give a very special shout out and thank you to Olivia Morgan, who but Olivia, we couldn't have done this without you. Your passion, your energy, your focus, your vision has just been tremendous. Barack and I think the world of you and your whole family. And we love you and are so grateful for everything you do. Okay, we're not okay. But Olivia, thank you so much. And I also want to thank our distinguished guest, an abstract poet himself, the one, the only Q-Tip. This is your stage, your house. So I'm proud of you. Okay? All right.
Hi, I'm Naima Latif, and we are here live at the White House, and we're talking with Stella Binion, one of the National Student Poets, and she is a native of Chicago. They're at the Walter Payton High School, and we'll be right back with some great words of poetry from Stella Binion.
Hello everyone, thank you so much for being here. My name is Stella Binion. I'm from Chicago, Illinois, and I'm the National Student Poet Representative for the Midwest this year. Very honored to be here. The poem I'm reading for you all today is entitled When Sister Comes to Visit. She never cracks shell on mixing bowl rim. Instead, picks coconut oil from thin metal loops. When with her, don't have to jump through them. Only have to pick up paste beside her in grocery store aisle, Earth Balance, cinnamon, unsweetened chocolate chips. Watching from kitchen counter as brown hands coated in white flour trace patterns in hip-hop cemented, self-taught familial rhythms. But the way she licks sugar from fingertip, as if she had ever tasted this sweet before, as if one home, as if got her hair permed every month, as if Christmas tree, not Katrina Brock branch, as if didn't mother herself. Kitchen floor sags under weight of all she carries. The walls can barely hold all of her as she whisks a cord into mixing bowls. Thank you.
Hi, of course, we are very proud of you coming from Chicago.
Thank you so much.
But what impact do you think First Lady Michelle Obama's having with this national program and helping people to take the voices of youth seriously?
I think it's really important what she's doing because it just shows that the government and the whole nation has our back and is supportive of our words and what we have to say as young people, because young people are who will be leading next, and so it just really puts a lot of faith in us, and it makes it I feel like all the people say that the youth, this is for the youth and the youth are important, but it's not always shown, and so this and her commitment to us, it shows that it is real, and that she is here to support us. And I think that poetry is super underrated, and so on a national scale, bring it to a national scale, it's a super great way to just encourage and spread the love of poetry, so that it can be something that seems accessible and for everyone.
Well, thank you so much, and we're so proud of you.
Thank you so much. Really happy to be here.
I'm so excited and honored to be here. And I'll be reading my poem, Linguistics. Ma, I haven't spoken Tamil in 3 years. Call it forgetting or just prenatal Americanization. Some God must have known I was a child of loose change, of ambiguity, of everything more confused than it should be, of conjoined twins snipped off the cord together, of the love of a language. Mother, maybe I lose the syllables of my name next, ancient and observing, still like the way rice farmers waved their crop after the monsoon swallowed them whole. This is a lesson on everything sacred. We promise to keep culture like dollars and gum wrappers, stashed in inside-out pockets, tumbled and dried in the wash, bleached and chlorinated by city swimming pools, floating peaceful cells blanched in cauliflower and contamination. This is how letters forget themselves. This is how a daughter loses the weight of her tongue in her mouth, replaces it with a borrowed accent, a softer L, a rumbling A, a smeared R, toothpick consonants, dissonance. Ma, we were Indian until we weren't. Meanwhile, I pretend I am cultured. I read Dickinson, structure culture around the line breaks of my own ignorance. Outside, the sun melts into itself, and I'm thinking of all the ways to say that I am lost. The crumpled syllables cramping in my mouth. This is not poetry anymore. This is what happens when a daughter forgets where her lungs are, what they were made of. Ma, I'm losing parts of myself every day, leaving bits of human when I walk, buttons, sweater strings, rosin dust, crushed bottles of water, worlds and worlds and words, latex gloves and frozen over car lots downtown, mustard seed heat thawing immigrant dreams silence. I want to question whether these are the things that make up the constellations of my genetics, the silence of my voice. But even I know nothing is silent about life. I've lost more than I've ever lost in 16 years. I've started shedding ethnicity like hair. Mother, I fear I'll go bald.
My name is Gopal Raman, and I'm from Texas, so I'll be representing the Southwest region. This poem is entitled August 23rd, 2005. A quote from the Sun Sentinel reads, "Scores killed as Katrina pounds states along Gulf Coast. The lightning dips its furry fingers just inches in, but it's enough. How nice to know when to stop. I woke up late today and cracked open the faucet and dipped my frail fingers in until they proved and wrinkled. I can't write with tight skin. I leave the paper soaking, graphite shading the dripping shadows. The paper just sits, pruned and not wanting to dry off. And that must be enough, to feel the earth crackle, but to not fear the water creeping through the cracks. To hear prune and think of the fruit. To hear cane and not hurry to run, but to taste the sugar melt into your mouth. My fingers are tightening up, so I dip them in the stream again, but they take longer to wrinkle.
Hi, I'm Joey Reisberg. I'm from Baltimore, and I'll be representing the Northeast. This poem is called The Muses in a Rented Room in New Orleans. The Muses, sick of being stuck on vases for millennia, take a holiday and are seen here in their play. Euterpe taps the distant beat of a streetcar on her knee, while terpsichore gyroscopes through the muggy air. Thalia barks bawdy jokes to the men slinking past the back door, as Melpomene boo-hoo-hoos, watching panhandlers parade beneath the scraggly Spanish moss. Urania scrawls sketches of stars plummeting into the Mississippi, ignoring Polymnia parting her hair and dropping her faith like Mardi Gras beads twining through tree branches. Cleo clambers between gravestones and pries open lichen-splattered mausoleums, scribbling epistles to Marie Laveau in lipstick. Arado wastes reams of paper on her stunted sonnets to the man sitting outside, straining soupy notes out of a trombone. Calliope's voice can barely be heard over the racket, but she is there too, whispering this poem into my ear. Thank you.
I'm reading Sacrilege and Provoking. I speak to you, terrorists, skyjackers, lifejackers, and otherwise flavored peddlers of sacred heresy. I speak to you, just FYI, just for your illumination. God is not a McDonald's franchise. You hold no right to sell, market, or otherwise operate in his name. I speak to you, for now is the time to open your eyes, to close your pocketbooks. No prophets have ever had Swiss bank accounts. I speak to you, for if you love God, you would not lie in his name. You would not explode in his name. I speak to you, for the only God you seem to know is the God of destruction, always thirsty for more blood, more tears, more futures gone wrong. I speak to you, for children belong to no creed, and if holiness exists, it is the selflessness that runs in their veins. I speak to you, for the magnetic attraction of violence keeps no home in the non-polar hearts of the young. I speak to you, for senseless violence has no part in my definition of humanity. I speak to you, because blind faith is no faith.
So beautiful. I want to thank Mrs. Obama and the whole team and everybody who put together this whole initiative to, I know that the arts saved my life. Just to share it briefly if I could. I was born in 1970, I lived in New York City. I believe that John Lindsay may have been the mayor of New York City at that time, and it was kind of dubbed the Forgotten City. And I had some family members who did tour in Vietnam, and growing up in New York at that time was very disparate. It was on edge. It was famously wrought with, just depression and no hope. And I have to tell you that arts, music specifically, saved me. It scooped me up. I grew up in Queens, New York, and the neighborhood was pretty much war-torn. But again, I can't tell you, I am a living example of how arts can really do so much and lift you up and encourage you and help you find a voice in a place where you don't hear it. And also, it's a fraternity for all of us and all of our past poets that we should all be honored and proud to be a part of, because we're brave to be able to kind of turn our insides out like that and to share it. So it's no small feat. And I wrote this kind of, I'm so sorry I did, but I kind of wrote it yesterday. But honestly, I really wanted to think about it, and I wanted to kind of take my time in a way. But this is specifically for you, and it's called For You, if I may. Tailored trumpets sound glorious, counter melodies and lush, spacious harmonies for your arrival. A welcoming for those with soldier courage to march out the dream to the utopian reality. While pedestrians nod off to their smartphone lights flashing hazard of email notifications of Amazon, you are welcome. Listen close. Pinpoint your ears to the musical ceremonies of the yesterday. Hughes, Hurston, Giovanni, Poe, Rakim. Yes, your favorites, never heard ofs, soon to be loved and studied, stood here in Recognition Hall. They danced and moved and cried and laughed and debated and laughed. Their electricity scorched the Milky Way, and their singed and ember dream life shaped this place. Let this moment become your refuge from the sure-footed and determined agents of fear looking to nest and unload in your loft. Become the anti to the mundane song played every day at 4:15 p.m. like clockwork. Recall your trumpet piece when elevation is required over the ragtag valley laced with complacency, and reach the top note of the chord. Coincidence is a word for the thin-souled gambler. Destiny is the verbiage fit for you on this day of your arrival. Feel the undercurrent of your drum-accompanied piece. Let the rhythm be the only routine to exist, until your welcoming piece can be heard faintly by the one you are welcoming, as I am welcoming you. Thank you.
National Student Poet Alum, Chastity Hunt.
Last October, I was appointed a 2015 National Student Poet, thus joining a family of nationally recognized student poets dating back to 2012. The primary role of a National Student Poet is to serve as a literary ambassador, promoting poetry through their region. Along with this responsibility, we are encouraged to think about what poetry means to us, and how this meaning can resonate with and be shared with others. Poetry is memory alchemy. It is a place to live, a mold for language. It is Emily Dickinson's metaphorical lantern in the form of an action. Each National Student Poet carries out a community service project. For mine, I worked with a local nonprofit organization called Girl Power Rocks near where I live in Florida. For the 30 girls that I worked with, poetry was an open forum. They used it to talk about the overwhelming presence of gun violence in their community, and how they hoped that things would change, not only for them, but also for their siblings, nieces and nephews, and future children. They conveyed a sense of hopefulness and awareness necessary for changing the world. The subject matter of their writings ranged from systematic racism to environmental concerns. One student wrote that she would like to see a world where a young Black boy can be proud of his past and not fear for his future. On trips to places like the Aspen Ideas Festival, I have seen poetry be therapy. During a reception at a festival, I watched an impromptu open mic where my peers read poetry, healing both themselves and others with their words. They spoke about important things like gentrification and the AIDS crisis, and illuminated passion and confidence as everyone gathered around, listened carefully, and absorbed their words. I used to describe writing as my lens for viewing the world. Now I realize poetry can be a lens, but it can just as well be superhuman vision, allowing us to see every wavelength in the spectrum, examine the very composition of our loved ones, of our friends, and even of strangers, and feel we know them better. In Savannah, Georgia, after a workshop at a Montessori school, I had a student come up to me and asked if I would like to read a poem he had written for Black History Month. In it, he expressed how February is the one time in which he feels most free. He wrote that Black History Month was the month where Black flowers look back on the past and tell the world it means something. It was one of my first times leading a workshop. I was just learning how to be a teacher. And what I learned was, poetry calls out to children, yearning to share powerful feelings. Poetry in writing is like having dozens of photoreceptors in your eyes. It is registering finite colors, seeing and feeling things from several different perspectives. It is seeing trillions of miles away. With the National Student Poets Program, we are given a year without blinders to absorb all the light particles our eyes can. We are asking other people to look through poetry, with imagery and rhetorical language, with words, to look closer. Look now. Thank you. And with that being said, I would like to introduce the alumni of the National Student Poets Program. Thank you.
Before I was a national student poet,
I sat on top of the mountain and asked it to give me a poem.
Leaves fell above the far distant cricket.
The valley offered its old war songs, and I cast them back down like stones.
I hated poetry. The nettle-feathered peacock of strut and pump.
The world entirely in two dimensions, whose inhabitants live, love, and perceive not.
At 14, I was waiting for a sign.
When I woke up, I already knew that yesterday would be different. There hung a shining mist upon the mountain.
This couldn't have been expected.
Was it
A dream, a lie, a promise.
something else not in the human vocabulary?
I was a tooth, bringing the last tubs of sugar from bubblegum.
I looked for ways to breach this body.
Our inner worlds in which we longed to be wise, to be kind, to be not so scared.
I followed my pencil across the page
and wrote myself into a new year.
During my term as a national student poet,
I followed my poems into rooms full of words on slips of paper clutched between students' fingers, rearranged and read out loud.
The poems are no longer my own. The words are full grown.
And growing still.
A cinnamon candy that never runs out, a house that burns in winter and melts a halo of grass, a dream of a golden wasp.
How arrange these students in classrooms like words on a page?
I am standing on stage in Lincoln Center, trying to build a new world by passing on my passion.
I'm using my words as a broom, sweeping away the tangle and the disarray.
Consider distance, how vast the span between our homes, how far we have driven on cracked highways, cleaving the endless open air, to push together and fill the West with words.
There is nothing else on the Salt Lake Plain as we pack this room, scribbling hand against elbow, out of stubbly pencils, tips chewed and erasers bitten. Each must be
Coaxed into sound. At first tentatively, then with greater conviction. When the symphony rises, I stand up and listen. They stand up and sing
A celestial sonata.
It swells and subsides like some hyperventilating beast, like some unrelenting explosion.
Like a slow slang the tongue learns.
And everyone says yes.
Be here with us. We hear and speak with you.
After my term as a national student poet, I will have a Whitman here and publish chapbooks on weekends and read lines from the Youngblood.
I will remember.
The gift of a hotel ballroom, you're empty, save the voices of friends.
Welling over a single bag of grapes and holding the world at bay.
Poets I have known will rise in me, red bubbled, sugar stirred, steeping. I'll be a psychic tear in space.
I will give thanks.
I will give thanks for the poem, for the intention it has brought to my hands.
I will give thanks for the way it asks me to touch the world.
I will write.
Until there are no more war songs left to write.
I will follow poems into other countries, for I do not fear the edge of the page.
I will look a long way into the past. I will go to sea and sing clear, the eye and bow, just ahead, beyond the future's mighty cricket.
I'll glance to see the space his legs just left and listen for a future sound.
When the extraterrestrials come, I'll welcome them with open arms.
I will speak, and I will listen.
Until I forget how to speak, how to listen.
And if this happens, I will learn to be again.
From all of you here with me.
I am.
From the northeast,
Southeast,
Southwest,
Midwest,
west region,
I am.
From the class of 2012.
2013,
2014,
2015,
2016.
If we ever wonder whether what we do makes a difference, it does. Thank you everyone for all this. Thank you guys. That was beautiful. Yeah. You guys are awesome. Have a great
And we are here at the White House, and that was a powerful presentation